demanding shorter hours, better pay, and voting rights. This triggered the first women's movement. After months of protest, the first National Women's Day was observed across the United States on February 28th. The Women's Day celebration was later rescheduled for March 8th. Since then, we have been celebrating March 8th as World Women's Day. The theme of this year's International Women's Day is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in COVID-19 World. As countries and communities start to slowly recover from a devastating pandemic, we have the chance to finally end the exclusion and marginalization of women and girls. But to do that, we need immediate action. Women must have the opportunity to play a full role in shaping the pivotal decisions being made right now as countries respond to and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, the world is celebrating the pride of women. On this precious moment, I invite Madam Arasi, Assistant Professor of English, to deliver welcome address. Arasi.
Thank you, Jayanti ma'am. And indeed, warm greetings and International Women's Day wishes for all of you. I'm Varibu Karasi. On behalf of Women Empowerment Cell of APC Mahalakshmi College for Women, welcome all of you to the virtual international conference on empowering women's psychology. I thank God Almighty and our Honorable President, Thiru APCV Chokalingam, and our beloved Secretary, C. Subbalakshmi, and our respected Principal, Dr. Yan Meena Kumari, and the Director of Self-Financing Stream, Dr. K. Satyabama, for their everlasting guidance and support to organize this virtual international conference. We APCN family are proud of each and every step that we take for our growth. With that, I would like to welcome our resourceful chief guest, Dr. Lakshmi Venkatesan, the holistic health practitioner, Purna Holistic Healing of California, USA. Also, the another resource person, Dr. Anandamurugan Muthukumara Swami, the senior psychiatrist, the director of mental health science at Hunter New England Health District, New South Wales of Australia. And I welcome our principal, Dr. Yanmina Kumari, and the Women Empowerment Cell members, Director Dr. K. Neeta, the coordinator of Women Empowerment Cell, Dr. S. Vanita, and the members, Dr. C. Stella Bhatyam, Ms. S. Vedavalli, Dr. V. Jayantikumari, Ms. B. Durga Devi, Ms. P. Rosalind, and my dear faculty members and students of our institution and other various institutions. I welcome you all for this empowering session. When our psyche is empowered, everything will be empowered. நிமிர்ந்த நன்னடை நேர்கொண்ட பார்வையும் நிலத்தில் யாருக்கும் அஞ்சாத நெறிகளும் நிமிர்ந்த ஞான செருக்கும் இருப்பதால் செம்மை மாத திரும்புவதில்லையாம் என்பதற்கிணங்க இந்த மகளிர் தினத்தை நாம் அனைவரும் கொண்டாடுவோம். நன்றி.
Thank you, Arasi. While there should not just be one day to celebrate, honor, and respect womanhood, International Women's Day is celebrated annually on March 8 across the world to thank women for their valuable contribution in making this world a better place to live. International Women's Day is a day dedicated to appreciate women in their lives. It is a celebration of the power of women and their achievements. So, as a woman, being proudly invite our college principal, Madam Dr. N. Meena Kumari, who is the brain and backbone of our college and is responsible for all the functions from time to time to provide presidential address. Ma'am, please.
Good morning to all. Women relating new records and achievements in various fields. Let us collectively from gender justice and eliminate equality between women and men. So March 8 has been celebrated as International Women's Day. It is a global day celebrating cultural and political achievements of women. And so this year, our college cell has arranged an international on empowering women's psychology. It is my great honor and privilege to thank Dr. Lakshmi Venkatesan, Holistic Health Practitioner, Pune Holistic Healing, California, USA, Dr. BBS, Hunter, Health New South Wales, Australia, to give a talk on the national conference. Really, I would like to thank business persons for accepting our invitation to give a talk on this area. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the management, our Honorable President, Sri A.P. Sri and our beloved Secretary Madam, Srimati Suresh, I congratulate the conveners, Dr. S. Sunita and Dr. Sunita, and team members of the cell, and I wish the program a grand. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This day is a focal point in the movement for women's rights. It serves as a reminder for people to stand up for the equality and the freedom of women. I am happy to invite Madam P. Rosalind, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, to introduce our chief guest. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to one and all. It's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Lakshmi Venkatesan, a seasoned practitioner, holistic health practitioner with over 30 years expertise in interactive wellness. Dr. Lakshmi Venkatesan graduated her Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery in Madurai Medical College in the year of 1986 and also completed DHM, Doctor of Homeopathic Medicine, certified in Singapore and UK since 2007. She had basic and advanced medical virology training and presented a paper in the International Virology Conference in 2012. She was a trained and certified practitioner of mantra healing, patch flower remedies, and also she was a trained and certified Inuit practitioner. She healing with her clients to achieve their health in the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual realms, stagnant energy through powerful subtle energy techniques and vibrational remedies. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Rosalind.
Thank you.
Every year, this day is marked with grand events, celebrations, and campaigns across the globe. However, this year International Women's Day is slightly different owing to the coronavirus pandemic. Large gatherings have been avoided in order to prevent the spread of the novel COVID 19 virus. We have organized this event beyond the deadly attack of the virus and its vulnerability. We cordially welcome Dr. Lakshmi Venkatesan, Holistic Health Practitioner, Purna Holistic Healing, California, USA, who have accepted our invitation during this pandemic period and to address the guest lecture for us. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, everyone, for organizing this wonderful event on Women's Day. And it's my pleasure, it's an honor to be here with all of you. And I thank all the organizers, your college, for taking all this initiative to bring a lot of awareness to all of you. This is a wonderful opportunity. And thank you for the introduction. I would like to start also with a bit of prayer, just a few minutes. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahana Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। The meaning of Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu, I don't know if many of you are aware of it. I'll just briefly explain that. It is a prayer for the teacher, the student, all in the path of learning. May we all move together in our studies, in our learnings, our teachings, our everything in this union of this. May we both, all of us, experience it together. May we perform with vigor together, studies and the deep concentration. May what has been studied by us be filled with brilliance. May it not give rise to hostility due to lack of understanding or misunderstanding. So with that, let's start our sharings. The title for today's event, the talk, is Empowering Women's Psychology. And all the three words are very, very deep. Empowerment is taking charge of oneself. And so us, what is us? Women. So what is woman? What is the role of women? What does a woman signify? And psychology, her mind, how her thoughts are, how her emotions are, how she behaves. So each one of these words is very deep and profound, and a lot can be said on just each of those words. But with the time given, let's see how much we can cover in a broad way. A woman, well, in humanity, we are talking about humanity now. Among all life forms, human birth is very, very precious, they say, because humans have an intellect much, much more than other forms of life here on earth. And they can set goals and they can achieve it. So this setting goals and achieving it is very unique to human birth. And in that, we have this opportunity as women. What can we achieve? And today in the introduction, someone said, this year is for leadership and achieving for women. Does it mean women have not led before? Does it mean women have not achieved before? Women have always been leading and achieving. It may not be in the outside world, in the business world and other things so prominently as one would see, but women have been achieving in all fronts, especially in the home front. You're all students now, most of your students. Many of you will pursue your careers, find jobs. You may go into teaching, you may go into research, you may join businesses. There are so many career opportunities. And I see your college offers a lot of science degrees and a few arts degrees I saw. So I will be touching a bit on the science as well. So in both ways have women been leading and achieving on the home front. When you look at home, a woman, the lady of the house, forms the foundation for the whole family. It is the foundation she provides on which a family thrives. So anything that is built without a foundation is very shaky. So women have been providing that foundation ever since society formed. And what are women's roles? She raises children. It is a very, very unique skill, opportunity. Men don't have that. Carrying through pregnancy, raising children is a very, very unique characteristic. And for that, the woman's body is structured to carry her through the baby to childbirth, giving birth, raising, nourishing, raising the child with the breast milk. So she goes through a lot of hormonal changes. And every month she goes through her menses, the periods, and that brings so many hormonal changes in her body. And apart from raising family, she has a societal role, interacting with other people in various ways. And what makes her so special, a woman, when you think of a woman, you think of someone soft natured, someone who is caring, loving. So when we say women, automatically we think of a woman's qualities. Do we also think of a woman as courageous? Yes. Very knowledgeable? Yes. In our prayers, I really love the way today's session started with prayers. It's very heartening to see colleges, students are trained with prayers before every event. I hope you'd have it every day as well in your curriculum. And first thing is to connect with God, the divine. And who is the divine? The life within each one of us. So our life is from the divine, and we are honoring the divine first to connect with the divine before we proceed into the worldly matters. So in that, a woman, like if it is Durga, she is a very courageous person. If has the characteristics of Saraswati, she is very skillful, very knowledgeable in her arts, her speeches, writing. She has so many talents. And the energy of Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi, as your college's has as your college's name, she's the one who provides the sustenance, the peace, the nourishment, the caring, nurturing, all that. So a woman encompasses all these qualities. For some, one quality is more dominant, for another Saraswati may be more dominant, for some the Durga may be more dominant, for some the Lakshmi energy may be more dominant. But all of us have that energy, and it's an energy to nourish us, for us to grow with. And we already have the empowering skills within us. Now we have to awaken it if it is dormant. For some of you, it may already be awakened. For some, it needs a little bit of tweaking and encouragement. And it is very wonderful that you have been given this opportunity to come to a university, study in college, get your degree. It is a very great opportunity. If you go back, like when in the introduction, they were talking about the first Women's March in New York. Very few women went to college or studies. So over the years, the women's capabilities in society and the acceptance in society has grown to a considerable extent that so many of us can come to college, study, and go back and share these learnings with the society and grow and evolve. When we talk of empowering women's psychology, how does the mind get empowered? And what is this mind? So we have a physical body, we have emotions, we have thoughts, and we have the life in us, the soul, which is the divine within each one of us. So the soul in us, the life in us is the very, very divine that we pray to. So we have that drop of the divine right within us. So when we are talking of psychology, the emotional aspect especially, does it mean that our thoughts is only to be empowered? Does it mean we cannot empower our thoughts? We don't need the body. We need a healthy body. We need healthy emotions. We need a healthy mind and a spirit, the soul that is free to express, free to talk, and free to apply the skills and learning And what can be the impediments? There are many impediments. It's a huge coverage again. And what can enhance it? What can strengthen these processes? So we'll look at some of the things. Since many of you are science students, I'd like to bring first to your notice. You'd have studied in biology about our nervous system. We have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And if you are able to recollect, or I can refresh, sympathetic nervous system is that gives that action, excitement, gets you going, running, working. It pumps in the energy for you to be active. Sometimes it can go on overdrive, and that leads to stress. And the parasympathetic nervous system is that which calms the body. The nerves calm the body to come to a calm state, quiet state where you can relax. You can be going through things with the flow instead of getting too worked up and jittery. We can all relate to that, right? And why do we have to talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? Because our minds, our thoughts are impacted by a lot of the chemicals that are produced in our body. Like there are a lot of neuropeptides, neurochemicals that impact the nerves and make the nerves function. And when we are under stress, the sympathetic nervous system is overactive. And when we are calm and quiet, the parasympathetic nervous system is functioning better. So, with that, how can we address the physical aspect that can help the psychology for us to be in a calmful, balanced state? Our diet is important. There are certain foods, certain diets that can irritate the system, can put stress on the system. And eating a healthy food itself can clear a lot of stress from the body in the system.
Ma'am, your voice is muted, ma'am.
It become muted. When did you last hear me?
I'm unmuted.
So how much of it did you miss? What was the last thing I was saying that you heard? Okay, never mind. We will continue.
Ma'am, nerves, chemical impact nerves.
Yes.
Yes,
So can the physical
chemical impact in our body.
Yes.
Impact of chemical. Yes.
Thank you. For our mind to be happy and healthy, our food, our sleep, all this is very important. If you don't sleep properly, you become irritable, you cannot function. So sleep can affect your psychology. Your food can affect your psychology. Too spicy, too oily food, irregular food habits can affect your psychology, can affect your moods. And the other important thing to look into is so good to go for organic food. On the Kalatla we used to get chekkala atina enna and things grown at home where you don't use chemicals. It's good to pick up those skills. So if any of you have interest in gardening, or you can develop an interest in gardening to grow your own food little bit, because gardening itself is very relaxing, and when you make your own food without all these additives, you are nourishing not only your mind and the body, you're bringing the right chemicals in to make the whole system happy. The other thing is being in the, again, gut health. In the olden days, I can't say olden days, in childhood, I don't know if maybe in some families they still practice. About every 6 months or so, a grandmother or some elder in the family would give us castor oil, velakennai, yes. So castor oil will cleanse the intestines, and as it cleanses the intestines, the body digests the food better. And there are, I don't know if you've heard of this, there are microbiomes in the gut. So there are a lot of bacteria, these are called microbiomes, and some of them are so beneficial. And when we eat wrong food, the wrong kind of bacteria multiply. When we eat healthy and do regular intestinal cleanses, the right kind of bacteria grow and they produce a lot of good hormones and chemicals that make us happy. So it's not just the brain, it is our gut also. Gut health is very important. When I say gut, I mean the small intestine, the large intestines. So the intestinal health and the digestion is very key to our happy state of the psychology. And the other thing is being in nature. Nowadays, a lot of us are hooked on to the handphone and computer. We spend so much time with this. We hardly step into the garden and spend time with nature. And spending time with nature is very, very important to keep us in balance. So, first, I'm talking about the physical aspects before we move on to the emotional and the other aspects. And you all in Thuthukudi are very fortunate that you have the sea right next to you. And going to the seaside and getting the sea fresh air, bathing in the sea, these are all excellent, very, very good for physical health because the sea salt clears a lot of negative energy around us. So when we say physical body, we have energy flowing inside us, we have energy around us also. It is called aura. I don't know if you're familiar with aura, AURA. Aura is the energy around us. நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும் திருஷ்டி கழிக்கிறது. ஸோ இஃப் யாராவது கண் பட்டுருச்சு அப்படி ஏதாவது சொன்னாக்கா they'll do திருஷ்டி கழிக்கிறது. What is actually happening is they're clearing out imbalances in the aura, in the energy field, and clearing it so that physically we are not affected. So the elders knew about these energies around us, within us, and how to balance these things. That is very important to keep our energy around us. We shower every day, that cleans our energy. So when we don't shower, we feel dull. It affects our psychology. We cannot be very alert or happy. Just having a shower clears the aura and clears the unwanted energy, so we feel fresh. And I'm just adding on all the different impacts that different things that impact our psychology. Very important are exercise. If we are working so hard, we are at the desk all the time and we don't have time to walk or do any exercise, games, sports. When you're in college, you will have more opportunities to participate in all this. But after, when you marry, you are raising children, you have family to tend to, life will get very busy and you may think you don't have time for exercises. But it is very important to include it in your daily agenda to maintain a good balance in your mind and your healthy mind and healthy emotions. When you're doing these exercises, it could be yoga, you could be doing even 10-15 minutes of yoga daily. Learn some simple yoga. That stretching movement is good for the muscles, bones, and movement of energies within us. You'd have heard of acupuncture, Varmam, some of you would have heard of, and other modes. They all address balancing the energy flow in our bodies. So these exercises, apart from giving circulation, stretching the muscles and improving blood movement. They are also helping the energy flow in our body. Some of you, I don't know how many of you are into yoga. There's the pranayama, which is the different ways of breathing. And one of the important simple methods is called Nadi Shuddhi or Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. This is something you learn from a teacher. It's not something I'm going to teach you here, but it is alternate nostril breathing, left to right, right to left. Go find out and learn how to do a proper Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama when you physically meet someone. It has to be, when we do this Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, we are balancing the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Both come into balance. If too much of parasympathetic, you can be very quiet and you don't have the energy to come out to participate in activities. You are very happy, contented, you can just sit quietly like that. But there has to be activity, work has to be done. So there has to be a balance of work and rest. And just doing the Nadi Shuddhi is a very simple, powerful way to bring balancing both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. When you do your exercises, all the games, sports, walking, all this, what happens is I don't know if you've heard of endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, you'd have heard. These are all hormones and neuropeptides that helps makes our mind very happy. It makes us joyous. And when we don't exercise, when you're sitting dull, our mind becomes dull because they are depleted in these good, happy chemicals. So our emotions are controlled by chemicals. Our thoughts are affected by chemicals. So all this is happening in our body. So taking care of our body is very, very important. It's fundamental for having a good, strong, healthy mind. And then that can be empowered to take more actions, leadership, and achieving. So taking care of your physical body is very, very important. Don't ignore it. It's not enough just to do a little. Make it a priority. When you have a healthy body, you will go through pregnancy well. When you're conceiving, you will have healthier children. So it is like taking action right now for raising good family. And you can contribute better at work when you take care of your physical body. Your psychology, your mind is able to withstand pressures. It doesn't break down or you don't lose hope easily when you are physically healthy. When we go into the emotional aspect of ourselves, women are considered very emotional people. When you look at men and women, men are more logical, linear thinking, whereas women are more generally more artistic, more emotional. They need that affection, they need that caring, the touch. Women need that. And life will throw a lot of challenges. And those, your teachers, anyone can say how much it takes a lot of effort to keep a family going, your work going, and at the same time taking care of yourself. And again, emotions are affected by many things. Our thought affect emotions, our emotions affect thought. Emotions affect the body can affect the emotions. Similarly, it is not compartmentalized. One affects the other affects the other. They're all interrelated. And to have emotional balance, apart from the exercises, even if you're doing everything correctly, you're taking charge physically, you're healthy, if at times, even the best of them can be emotionally very challenged, can come across very difficult situations in life. For that, I would like to bring in a few suggestions that can you can consider and you can learn more about later. One of the things in the holistic practice I use very often is Bach flower remedies. It is at the end, I will show some of the books. I've sent the pictures. I hope they will be able to bring it up. Bach, pronounced as Bach, some pronounce as Bach. Bach is, there's a Bach is a very well-known name, but this, even though it's spelled Bach the same way, it's pronounced Bach. Dr. Bach in England, he was a very successful practitioner, a medical doctor, but he went into nature to find out what can help humanity. This was more than 50, 80 years ago. And he identified 38 different flower remedies, each one to address an emotional stress. And simply just identifying which remedy is needed for each person when they take it, it helps to bring back the balance of the emotions. And it is a very simple, powerful method. And I've been using it for 30 years, yes. And you don't have to fall sick to take it. Even if you're having some days, you're off, you're facing some stress, relationship stress, or work stress, or family stress, whatever. If you identify which remedy you want, you can take it. So, more on that later, but it's a very, very useful thing to learn. You couldn't get it in some of the homeopathy shops. It is something I recommend to a lot of people, everybody. In fact, if every household could have some Bach flowers, somebody learns Bach flowers, it will help so much to ease stresses for us, children, elders, whatever. Whatever stress comes, it will flow. But if our mind is balanced, we have the strength to flow through it. And we will be able to support, we can be like pillars for others instead of we being swayed by the emotions. When we are in balance, we bring that strength to people around us. And another method which I tell people is called Jinshin Jutsu, Jinshin, Jutsu, Jyutsu. So this is again touching different parts in our body that brings the energy flow, that balances it, so it helps to clear stresses. So these are simple methods that anyone can learn and pick up and apply for themselves or for family and friends. And again, these are good things to do. Whenever we are looking at what to do, we must also look at what we mustn't do. One of the things that affects us emotionally is watching all these serials in the TV and a lot of negative news. It is, you'll know, this is Kali Yuga, so a lot of negativity around us. So it is important to proactively pick up good things and proactively avoid, or if we can't help it, if it comes, clear out negativity. When you keep hearing negative talk or negative scenes or negative thoughts, even if you're walking, even if you're eating good food, healthy food, the negative thoughts will change the chemical reaction in our body. And once the good neuropeptides and the neurochemicals things come down because of the negative thoughts, you need to do so much more to effort to bring that back. So much easier is to avoid negative thought, avoid negative talk, speeches, and actions. And if there is a company, a friend who talks negatively, it's good to tell them to say something, to talk better or see different perspectives, to change their mind. Otherwise, just take a break. You don't have to force yourself to be in a negative environment. Take a break, go to the seaside, walk in nature to release your stresses, because At all costs, it's very, very important to keep your mind at peace, mind joyful. And if you have done that, then leadership, achieving all that is a piece of cake. It will flow for you. But if your mind is not happy, if it is not calm, then however hard you work, however much effort you put in, a lot of energy will be wasted because without the right thought, you will not be able to build up on the right actions. So these are very basic but very fundamental things that is important to consider and keep track of. So avoiding negativity is important. And when we talk of the mind and thoughts are like we bathe every day. I'm sure many of you, almost every one of you, would have helped or cleaned the house every day. All of us bathe every day. We clean ourselves physically. How many of us clean our minds every day? It is an important practice. There are several ways to do it. And one of the things you would have heard of is meditation. Meditation is a simple method to clear the mind every day, clean the mind. Another very simple thing is chanting prayers. There are many slogans and things that you can chant, mantras. It is a very, very powerful way to clean the mind. And like we started with prayers at home, before you leave the home, in the morning, you shower, you spend 10-15 minutes, at least 10 minutes, chanting prayers in front of the altar before you come out to college and before you go to work in future. Because when we are praying, and the prayer is not just mechanically saying the prayer, looking at your clock, I have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to go, so mechanically chanting. No, even if it is that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, say it from here. So it's important to connect with yourself first. Atmartama chalrade. When we say Atmartama, you are connecting with yourself. And when you come from here, whatever you do flows beautifully. At least you will be in balance, even if there is others in disharmony or disagreement. When you are connected with yourself here, you can hold your ground. You can be really empowered. The empowerment comes from here. The mind is your tool. You think, thoughts, analysis, your intelligence, all this is like a minister giving the input. But here is the empress. You are the queen here, and you make decisions from here, not from here. These give the pros and cons, right and wrong, all this is from here. It is important tool, but the empowerment really comes from here. You connect from here. When you are connected with yourself, with the divine within you, then you are truly empowered. So it is very important to take that time, however short it is. When you have more time, you can do prayers longer. It is not for fun, a holiday or picnic. We go to temple. When we go to temple or places of worship, whichever faith you're coming from, some of you may even be atheists. You may not believe in a God. That is all right. But at least you can believe in yourself right here. And this is the source. It's the same as the God wherever else we say. It is this connection here. And it's really important to spend that time and effort, carry this message with you. This message is so important. This is the source of that empowerment. And other things to coming back to the mind is what? It's a storage of all experiences, memories that we have gone through in life. The human life is what? We've come to experience anubhavangal from which we evolve, our evolution. And what do we mean by evolve? We have certain beliefs, certain habits. This is how it is. This is how that should be. And some of them you may be outgrowing them. As we evolve, what seemed right then, you may see a higher truth. And from that higher truth, you can evolve to yet another higher truth. At that time, you let go of these beliefs and habits that don't serve you anymore. For that, life is a journey, and things keep changing. You must be open to understand that there will be changes in life. Expect changes in life. And through the changes, how can you keep your sympathetic system, parasympathetic system in coordination, in balance? And it is your commitment to it. Unless you commit to it, it will not happen. You must have an intention, sankalpa, we call it. Like when we go to temple or prayers, the priest says, make a sankalpa. That is taking an intention. So we can take intentions right now, each one of us, like I will focus on doing good. I'll focus on avoiding bad. I will avoid bad, negative situations, speeches, words. And this sankalpa or this intention, if you take, that itself will clear out a lot of rubbish, garbage from the head. It will prevent future things coming in. Why? Because when you make an intention, a sankalpa, this is your calling here. When you set that, that is what you will attract from the universe. When you say, I'm seeking only good, the universe will connect with you to give you good. But if you don't put that filter, like you have a door to your house to block unwanted things, you allow only who you want to come inside the house. You don't let strangers, everyone else come into your house. So that intention is like a door, that sankalpa is a door which allows what you want in and clears out what you don't want. And it is something.
Ma'am, now also it is muted.
Yes, yes, yes. Please, please, please.
Ah,
1 minute.
thank you.
1 minute. Okay, okay, okay.
I'm not able to hear her voice, ma'am. Anita, ma'am. Lakshmi, ma'am, you are muted. Please unmute your mic.
I'm trying to unmute. Mute.
Yeah, now it is audible. But now you muted.
It's
Okay.
still
Okay,
showing
okay.
muted for me. I don't see any video. Is it there?
Now we can hear your voice, ma'am.
Can you
You
see
can
me?
proceed.
I don't see myself. Can you see me
Yes,
also?
yes, we can see you, ma'am.
I couldn't. I don't have anything on my screen. And okay, we'll continue. So again, connecting here is the key. And what you have to do, இது when Tamil உள் நெஞ்சு உள் மனது சொல்ற இடம், being connected from here to make your decisions in your life is important, because this is the decision from your atma, your soul. If you make decisions from your head, it is analytical, you may be swayed, it may be from the ego level, and it can be true today, it can change tomorrow, whatever. But when you make decisions from your heart, that is your core. And it is very important to connect with your core every day, so you recognize, am I talking from here? Am I thinking you can think from here, you can also think from here. When you think from here, and the உள் நெஞ்சு கேட்கிற சொல்றது இல்லையா? So that is so important. Then you are anchored in yourself. You will be a very authentic person. When you come from a space of authenticity, people will listen to you. They cannot brush you aside. You're talking from your core is your strength. If you talk from your head, it is only the intellect talking. It'll go only so far. When you connect from the soul to soul, then you have the deep relationship. Lot of things can be achieved. A good leader connects from here. It is not about doing this, doing that. All this doing is a process external. But when you connect from here, it's more you're connecting to the whole person and not just the event. If you want to be a very successful person in whatever you do for your own personal success or with others, if you can be a person who can connect from yourself and from here connect to others and interact with them from here, talk from here, share from here, you will be heard and you will be a very deeply understood, more accepted person of good quality and good leadership skills come from here. This is the place, source for the success. One of the several things I would like to recommend for you as some of you would finish your academics as you move on into your life with academics, work. Some of you may become homemakers. Becoming a homemaker is a very, very challenging job, and it is not much recognized by society, but it is the rock foundation of society. As a homemaker, you can bring happiness to your family, your children, your parents, your relatives, friends, circle. When you are happy, you will impact them so much more, and you're like creating the balance, peace for society. It's a very, very important role. And those of you who are going on to your work, career, women, it will be quite a demanding thing to balance both work and home. So it is very important to take care of your physical health. You must take charge and say, I'm doing all this, but you say, Sovara vachidan chitram. You are the Sovara. You have to invest time in yourself and take care of your health, good exercise, good food, good thoughts, good company. One of the things I would like to recommend all of you is read good books. Maybe some of you, as you move on with your life, now that there is so much of social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, so many of these available for you, maybe you can meet once a month online and connect reading books or sharing good things. So one person doing, I read a book, I learn for myself. When we do it together, let's say we select this book, we read together, we come and discuss. That group activity is so much more powerful than one person reading for that person, just for that person. So community is very important. You need people and community. We are not human beings or not one individual. We thrive as community. So your relationship with others is another skill you have to develop. So far, we've been talking about self-care. Now, how to interact with society. There, you will be meeting so many people with so many personalities. Some you can get along with, some you have difficulty, challenging. So you have to go back to see emotionally how to handle it, mentally how to handle it. So emotionally, some of the things I can recommend now is Bach Flowers is so simple and so good. The other thing I would recommend is Varmam. Varmam, I learned from a master in Coimbatore. It's in my website if you want to go and see. There are many people now teaching it, and you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a nurse, you don't even have to be in the medical field. Anybody can go and learn it. It's a very, very useful, important skill to learn to maintain your health and take care of health in the family. So it'll be good. I would encourage you to keep that on a list of to-do things. You can, in a New Year, when New Year comes, we say, what is my New Year resolution? I want to do this. Sometimes we do, many times we don't. What you can do is write a wish list. In this year, I would like to consider doing these things. 5 years from now, I want to do these things. Another 10 years, I want to do this for myself. And more importantly, apart as we grow, as we evolve in our life, another key important thing connecting to our Atma here is connecting with society. That seva comes. When you give to society, when you help someone, many of us would have noticed, you feel happy. When you give, there is generosity. It could be in money, of your skill, of your talents, of your energy. When you do seva, that seva brings generates a lot of good chemicals in our body. That's why you feel good, happy. Because when you give that, the other person is grateful for what you're doing, and their energy affects our energy and it makes us happy. So it'll be very good for your mental health, overall health, to include giving back to society without expectation. Just seva is giving without returns, expecting returns. If you can incorporate that into your lifestyle, you are paving the way for a good, healthy mind, because that brings a lot of good, positive energy. Like I said, happiness, joy, you meet and you share and you communicate. So thank you for giving this opportunity for sharing, because this is a seva. And as we do it, we don't expect it, but automatically that good energy brings more goodness to it. So you do good, more good comes. So it's a positive cycle. So in the same way, avoid bad karma, doing bad things, because when you do bad, it'll attract more and more bad. So the intention, the sankalpa is very important. When to say no, you have to be clear. If you say, I don't know, maybe it'll happen. In these times, there are a lot of negative things around you. Don't get drawn into it. You have to stand firm. You have to use your Durga energy to say no to it strongly. And you need your Saraswati energy to know which is right and which is wrong. And if you're connected from here, that will be a good guide to say which is right and which is wrong. So listen to yourself here. And I can share some more, but I don't know if we have the time. I would like to share some of the books. And there are many free courses available on websites. Like, I don't have the link with me here, but there are many good universities across the world. I know MIT, Stanford, many other universities across the world are offering a lot of free online classes. So if you want to explore and grow and learn more about your fields, or even other aspects you want to learn apart from your academic, there are other things you want to learn, go and look for free online courses. The two that come to my mind are Stanford, which is a very famous university in California, and MIT is again another very famous university near Boston area in the US. I'm sure there are many others across the globe. Maybe Princeton, Harvard have some, I'm not sure at this point. But one of the important things is life is an ongoing journey of learning. When you finish your college, it is not the end of learning and going to work and family. Make time for yourself to keep learning new things. As you keep learning new things, your brain is more sharp, there are more brain networks that happen, and it evolves as you grow into a fine person with lot of skills, and with the balanced mind you'll make an excellent leader in whatever you do. It doesn't have to be something big, it could be even something small. But if you are happy, if you are balanced, you will be able to impact others around you and do a lot of wonderful good work. Can we go on to looking at the books? I'd say a few things about the books. And
Shall I share,
think-
ma'am?
Huh?
Shall I share?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. Share.
I cannot see. I don't know why I'm not able to see. Are you showing? I have no video. Is there any way you can bring me back to video so I can see what is being shown? Then I can talk about it.
Share already. அவங்க எப்படி போகணும்?
The book what they displayed now is The Power of Intention, ma'am.
Oh, Jane. Wow,
Learning
okay.
to co-create your world your way.
Yes. That Sankalpa intention is a very, very powerful tool. There are so many things possible in the universe. Why is it somebody is going into business? Some of you may become business women, entrepreneurs, and lot of women entrepreneurs are coming up. So it is something wonderful, and you need an intention. Oh, I would like to do business. Oh, I would like to venture out into that. Then you are making an application to the universe, and the universe tries to fulfill what you are asking. So that intention is so powerful, and it is called co-creation because you are putting in your thought, your application, your request, and the universe is providing, so you are co-creating. And for that, I mean, I would recommend if your college can, they may already have it in the library. Otherwise, to get these books I'm showing, and I'm sure there are many other books that will be helpful. But I'm just sharing some of the things that I thought would be helpful for you. Yes, and he's a very good uh, motivational teacher. You can Google him and see he has taught a lot of good things, how to deal with your mind, empower the psyche, all of that. Yes. The next
The
one.
next one.
The book on the screen is The War of Art. Break through the blocks and win your inner creative battles.
This is a very cute book. Very get hold of it if you can. It is very small. Each page only few lines. The war you have. Each one of us is unique. There is something only we can do. In among all the billions of people, each individual is a unique individual. I've come for something to do in this world. Each one of you has come for one specific thing that only you can do. The rest of the billion cannot do that. The war of art is like, come find out what is it that you have come for. And many times it's easier to do external activities because it is charted out. Oh, it's like there are clear instructions to follow. But when there are no instructions and say, go find yourself, that is a tough job. And people keep postponing. And the war of art is how many things, wonderful things are being missed in this world because people are not going into themselves to find out what they came to do. Many times we live others' life. Others tell us do this, others tell us do that, and we are satisfying others. We never listen to this one to satisfy our inner calling. So the war of art is to go into your inner calling. What is it? What it is about? And it's a very humorously written book. I would strongly encourage you to get hold of that and read it at some time when possible. Yeah, next one.
Back floor remedies for
For women.
guide to the
Sorry, the voice
Yes,
is
ma'am.
breaking. For women. Okay, I just wanted to show the book to you. Bush flowers are for everyone, even animals, pets, even for plants. It is energetic. So, there is also, if you Google, you can come across Himalayan flower remedies. There are other flower remedies across the world, bush flower remedies. I use this one the most. And bush flowers for women specifically, it will talk about related to, say, if there are period pains or if you're breastfeeding or people are planning a family, they're having difficulty conceiving. So many different specific women issues, what bush flowers can be indicated. But it is a very customized thing. And if any of you is interested or want to learn more, or at any point you want to see what is needed, you're always welcome to email me at purnaholistichealing@gmail.com. It's in the website. And it's a wonderful skill to learn about and see if you can use it. Yeah. Next one.
molecules of emotion, the science behind mind body medicine.
Dr. Cadence Pert, she was a neuroscientist. She passed away some 8 years ago, I think 7, 8 years ago. She was a PhD. She was working in a very reputed laboratory, and her initial discoveries, her experiments, she discovered the pathway in our body where the receptors are. Like these chemicals are being produced, they have to go and attach somewhere to activate action there. So, where they have to go and attach is called the receptor sites. And she found the receptor sites for the endorphins. So people talk the happy hormones, happy chemicals, all that endorphins are one of them. And she did her early research first time these were being discovered. But if you go into ancient Siddha, Ayurveda, they knew all these. So Siddha, I didn't touch on Siddha Ayurveda. There is a lot to say on that. There's so much of wisdom in the Siddha Ayurvedic lifestyle. Good to follow that and learn from that. So when she discovered the endorphins and all that, her work led on later on to others receiving Nobel Prize for their research. And this is a very beautiful book, how she says how these chemicals affect our emotions. And she was a pure hardcore scientist who later started seeing the energy level of our body. I don't know if any of you are into yoga, the spiritual thing. We have chakras in our body. That's another topic, another thing. Yeah, my website, there is a link to mantra as medicine. So if you want, you can listen to those talks there. So she discovered a
Ma'am,
whole lot.
Shall we
Yes.
go for shall we go
Sorry.
for interaction, ma'am?
Yes.
Shall we
Please.
go for interaction?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Girls, any doubts you can clear.
Maybe you can quickly show the other books without talking
Okay,
about
okay.
them.
Okay,
Just
okay,
show
okay.
those books for them to see.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Ma, now is a discussion forum with our guest. Students can clarify your doubts. Okay. So any clarification from the audience side?
Good morning, ma'am.
Uh,
Ma'am, I'm Sureka from studying second BA English. Ma'am, I have a doubt on decision. How to take decision?
How to? I didn't get the
Take-
question.
how
How
to
to
take
take
decision?
decision?
Huh. So there are coming from I'll tell it from a bush flower perspective so you have some concept of it. There are some people who in their heart feel, I think I must do this, but they cannot decide. They will ask this person what they want to say. They'll ask another person what their opinion is. They'll keep asking so many people for their opinions, and they'll have a lot of information, and still they won't be able to decide. For such a person, from the Bach flower perspective, there's a remedy called Cerato, Cerato, and Cerato is helps that person make a decision. It really helps when you start taking it. I'll just talk about this and then we'll go to individually how to say it. There's another kind of person who has difficulty making a decision. Should I do this or should I do that? They're wavering between two things and they cannot decide between this or that. And this can drag on forever. They can live a whole life without not being able to make a decision. And Bhaskara remedy for a person in that situation will be called scleranthus. Scleranthus, scleranthus. So, and there are other people who are at crossroads in life. Like I don't know if I should take this direction. It's not the scleranthus, but it is a much deeper thing of which direction of life should I take. Should I go into a career or should I go into a business or should I stay at home? Should I take care of the child? So I forgot to mention one thing in the talk. I'd like to include it since it's coming up. Just because you're raising children, don't think you have to stay at home and just that improve your skills and reach out to society. I've seen so many women carrying their children and doing other work. It is very natural. You will see it in the forest tribals. It's natural for them. In our modernized society, it's become uncommon, but don't give up your career or anything just because you have a child. If there is an inner yearning, please follow your inner earnings for satisfaction. In your condition, you were asking, in what can you explain, give some more detail on what kind of decision uh, you're looking at? You don't have to give the specifics, but is it like, can you give some idea of the background of it without going into what exactly it is?
Regarding career, ma'am.
Huh. So you have to, I can't say you have to, go again to your ulnanju, your atmartama, what you makes you happy in your core is the line you choose, not because this is going to, this is what will impress society. Most people who are high achievers, sometimes are they happy inside is the final question. Some achieve because they've been told to achieve. They may making lots of money, but internally there'll be still a lot of dissatisfaction. So I'd advise maybe to choose something that you feel happy when you say, I look at it, everyone's going for science, I want to do that. You said English, right? Whether you want to go into teaching or writing. One of the things is, writing journal every day is another thing. You can go into writing, you can write. Companies need people to write for their technical writing skills, many things. But you have to choose something not just for the money, something that gives you happiness. That's what you will enjoy. And what you enjoy doing, you will do excellently easily. Otherwise, even though you're getting more money, you will be unhappy and complaining if you go into something that you're not feeling drawn to. Does that help?
Ma'am,
Sure.
how to find our ikigai, ma'am?
How to find?
Our ikigai, which we like the most.
Okay, what we like it. It is something you have to ask yourself. Go into your heart. What makes you happy? What are the things you love? You sit down in a quiet place where it may be in nature, paper and pencil or phone in your notebook. Write down all the things that make you happy. You may not complete it. Suddenly, one day later, you'll think of something else that makes you happy, another thing that makes you happy. And then see which of these your skills of English literature can be used, or how your skills can flow into it. It is a work you have to do for yourself. It is not, if I say it, it'll be my thought of it. My thinking is not what you want. You want it from your heart. You have to follow your heart. It is not something that can come from me. You know your background, your lifestyle, your likes, what really draws you. So it is a homework for each and every one of us can do. And this list need not be complete. Suddenly you'll think of something else. Oh, I love drawing today. Oh, I want to cook this today. Oh, I like talking to that friend because that friend does this. Or you can look in society and look at leaders, others who are achievers, others who are performing. See who you like and whether what they are doing makes you happy. Maybe you can find a job in that line under them or someone doing a similar kind of job. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Ma, anything else?
And yeah, when you're at crossroads and the bush flower is wild oat is the remedy that comes up. If you don't know which direction to take, remedy that comes up for that is called wild oat. Wild, WILD, and oat is another word, OAT, like oat. And that helps give clarity on which direction to take.
Ma, anything more, ma? Okay. So, as Madam told, not in the past, present, and future, women are always leading and achieving all along their way. She told women is the foundation of the whole family. Certainly, ma'am. If foundation shakes, everything will get collapsed. And also, she emphasized the essentiality of doing exercises and yogas and the importance of taking care of our body. And nowadays, the impact of media in our body, in our day to day life activities. And she also talked about the positive attitude. The positive thought and attitude always leads to the upliftment of one's surveillance. And the negative thoughts spoil not only the body, but also the environment around us. So, and she also mentioned about the authentication that should come from the heart, not from the brain. And the soul to soul contact, so many things she listed. That is the advices and the recommendations what she discussed today or unlisted. Very useful information, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable time with us. And some specific colors observed highly on the occasion of International Women's Day. Those are purple, green, and white. Where purple signifies justice and dignity, green symbolizes hope, and white represents purity. The colors mentioned above will not only be in words but also in thoughts and should purify our mind and strive to be more and more elevated towards the women. As the closing part of the show, I welcome Madam Dr. S. Vanitha, one among the convener of this program, head, and Associate Professor of Commerce to deliver vote of thanks. Vanitha, ma'am. Vanitha, ma'am, you are not audible. You're not able to
It's
hear,
my
ma'am.
pleasure to yes. Can I audible?
Yes, now
It is
you are audible.
okay. It is my pleasure to deliver vote of thanks on this auspicious day. First, I would like to thank Almighty God for completion of this program. Then I would like to thank our management for giving this opportunity to organize this type of conference. My great thanks to our principal who is support and encouraging in all ways. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Lakshmi. When I approached her, she immediately accepted my invitation and she contacted me and asking the content every day and very involvement. She is very involvement in her commitment. It shows her commitment in her acceptance. Thank you, ma'am. And in her speech today, there is a lot of information gathered. This chemical impact of chemical which is impact nerves in our body and food habits which affect our moods. This is on a very important one to our suggestion to us. And batch flour remedies. It is a very new one and very interesting one. And so thank you, madam, for your empowering us in our health. And I take this occurrence to thank her for her valuable guidance regarding health. Thank you, ma'am. And my grateful thanks to the participants from other colleges. So we are very happy to have such valuable participants. Next, I would like to thank our entire team, VERA members, Women Empowerment Cell members, for involvement and willingness. They have expressed to complete successfully. I extend my thanks to my dear students from our college and other colleges. Thank you. And all of us know health is wealth. நோயற்ற வாழ்வே குறைவற்ற செல்வம் அப்படிங்கிறது we experienced during this pandemic period very much, and now it is very apt topic during this period. Hope today's program is useful to all. Once again, I thank you one and all. Women themselves have the right to live in dignity, in freedom from want and freedom from fear. On this Women's Day, let us rededicate ourselves to making that a reality. Happy Women's Day, and thank you one and all. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanitha, ma'am. The morning events of Women's Day conclude with this. Thank you so much to everyone who made the morning event special. Also, I request everyone to come to the afternoon program using the same link exactly at 2 o'clock after lunch. Thank you.
We will share you the feedback link in the afternoon session. You can get a certificate from that link. So all of you attend sharply at 2 o'clock. Thank you.